What are some things people shouldn't do when they apply a visa for China?
In China, some people want to know if you can rent an apartment on a tourist visa, and if you can. Because people that maybe want to live here first, find an apartment, and then they want to transfer to a work visa.
So what are some typical ways to get a business visa?
It doesn't mean that you're on business. It just means you have business to do. The thing about business is you also cannot get paid on a business visa.
K visa.
K visa. I think I've lived in China for a long time now, since 2009, and finally I feel like we have a visa that is going to encourage people to move here.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Aiden. This video is about visa types in China. So we're gonna go through many different types of visas in China. What are the requirements? Lovely that I have my friend Matt here, who has been in China over the decade.
Hey everybody, my name is Matt. I'm originally from Tennessee, but I moved to China in 2009 on a student visa to study in a university. And now I am no longer a student visa, and you will find out in the video what visa I'm on. Keep watching.
This video is sponsored by Proactor AI. It's the first AI that really understands your conversation and able to give you feedback in real time. So during this interview, we'll be using Proactor AI to record the whole conversation right here on my laptop. It automatically conducts all the key points into a clear structure. So we'll be providing the in the end of the video. I got my questions ready about the visa.
Yeah, sure.
Let's get it started now.
Let's get it started.
According to Proactor AI, it lists out 10 different types of visas. Tourism visa, business visa, work visa, student visa, private visa, transit, crew visa, journalism visa, and also the newest, K visa. What are some typical things about Chinese visa, like people should be aware of?
That's a good question. Chinese visas are, they care a lot about the forms and making sure your information is correct. They might ask for your work history, your student history, and all these different things, even for a tourist visa. And you might think, why do I need this for a tourist visa? It might seem a little bit invasive or strange to you.
These are the necessary steps. You have to fill it out.
You have to. Yeah, if you don't fill it out, you don't get your visa.
What are some things people shouldn't do when they apply a visa for China?
Do not lie on your visa application, for sure. I would say if you don't know when your plans are of when you're going to travel, it's okay to give them an estimation. You don't have to know exactly when. Most of the visa immigration officers cannot speak English, and so they don't ask you any questions. I've only ever been asked questions when they're like, can you speak Chinese? And I'm like, and then they go, or they're like, where you go, where you stay? They very simple English, but they don't have good enough English to, even when I moved to China on my student visa and I arrived, I thought, oh, I'm gonna have my travel itinerary, my hotel, all this kind of stuff. Nothing. They didn't ask for anything. They just let me through.
But it's better to just be prepared though.
Yeah, just be prepared. Yeah.
What about the costume when you arrive in China? Is it scary? What's that experience like?
To be honest, it is a little bit intimidating. I would say because Chinese people, they're not taught to smile and welcome you. So when you arrive at the airport, the guy, he's like, shy away, next. But in most places, they'll at least look at you in the eyes and be like, also their clothing is just a light blue and it looks happy, but their face isn't happy. But then I just realized that it's mostly a language barrier that's the problem, because the second we start talking in Chinese, they're like, oh, they're very nice.
That's pretty good insight. Thank you.
Sure.
Can you actually retire in China?
I think the easy answer is no. Since China got the visa free, basically with all the world except for basically America and Canada, since every country now almost can come to China without a visa, a lot of Chinese people have been saying online, China is not an immigration country. We are not an immigration country. We're not an immigration country. Because I've lived here for a long time, it feels to me a little bit uncomfortable to hear people say that, because it's it's almost very unwelcoming. You can't come here. We don't welcome you. Just for travel, don't live here. But, that's just not how the world works. There's people everywhere. I know a guy, he married a Chinese lady and she died, and he lost his visa because she died. So he had to leave, even though he lived here with her, which is crazy, right?
Damn,
you would think that there would be some kind of your spousal visa for a spouse who died and you want to stay here. But no, if you want to try to retire here, you need to be ready to leave and or have a really, really good plan.
Have you ever had a business visa before?
I have not myself, but I know maybe 50 people who have had. So I know a lot about it.
Okay. So what are some typical ways to get a business visa?
So there's actually different reasons why people get visas for business. For instance, one of my friends wanted to be a student, but she would only stay 6 months. So she got a business visa so she could study for 6 months, because they don't give student visas for 6 months. At least back then they didn't. It doesn't mean that you're on business. It just means you have business to do. You have something to do in China that's official. So it can be a school or a job, a work trip, things like that, a consulting, things that you have to come back and here forth. But the thing about business is you also cannot get paid on a business visa. You have to be given money from your country, not from China.
they can be like part-time jobs?
They cannot. Only work visa in China, you're allowed to make money and work. I think if you're going to start working here and you're trying to set up your company and you need to stay here a little longer than maybe your tourist visa will give you, people will get a business visa to do that. But the thing about the business visa is you do need an invitation from a company. But the great thing about Chinese people is that Chinese people love to network. And so usually if you meet a Chinese businessman, they can provide you with a letter because you don't actually have to work there. You just need to have a letter to apply for the visa. Like I have a friend who was on a business visa and he was found out by the police recently that he was on a business visa, not a work visa. And they said that you just have to go back to your country and change your visa and come back. There wasn't much of like a scare. He wasn't put in jail. He was fined around $2,000 US.
What?
But he's allowed to come back to China. You risk being blacklisted or fined a lot of money if you're on the wrong visa here.
I think the scary thing about it is actually like not getting caught. It's actually like you can have a legal contract.
Yeah, and usually business visas you can stay for around 6 months maximum on one stay. So 6 months is a long time to be able to find out if you can start your company, you can do these things that you need to do, and it's just easier.
I also know that if you happen to live in Guangdong, you can just go to Macau and go to Hong Kong.
Yes. Super easy. But here, in where we are, it's difficult, right? You have to take a plane and it's expensive.
So what about like work visa?
Basically, it means you have a job in China and you have, an employee ID number, you have a tax number, all these kind of things. A Chinese job has given you a salary. So most foreigners are English teachers, right? Or engineers or restaurants. And so they can legally work in China. And if someone calls them and says, hey, can you teach my child English tonight or, every day on Saturday, they can legally do that.
Work visa are able to have side incomes.
Yes. In China, when you change your job, they don't give you a visa or time to change your job. You get like 2 weeks. If you get fired, you have 2 weeks to make sure your life is okay. Otherwise, you can't stay. Because if you think, I'll just come to China with one job and it's fine, you might have to leave if you get fired. Or if your school closes, or if something happens, you never know. In China, some people want to know if you can rent an apartment on a tourist visa, and you can. Because people that like maybe want to live here first, find an apartment, and then they want to transfer to a work visa. People want to do that sometimes because they want more time. People have asked me that question so many times.
When you just came to China, what visa were you on?
So I was on what is called the X visa, the student visa. It was actually really confusing for me when I first got my visa because I applied for my visa in America at the Chinese consulate. I used a service and they helped me, I shipped my passport and they did everything for me. It was really nice. But when I got my passport back on my visa, it said student visa X, period of stay 000. So then I asked the visa agency and I said, can you explain this to me? And they said, once you get to China, then you have to change your visa. And so I didn't understand what that was. But basically what it is it's an entry visa. And then once you get to China, you have to change your visa to like a residence permit visa while you're there. So there's like 2 steps. So some of these visas only have 1 step, but some of the visas also have 2 steps, which is a little bit confusing for some people. When I came to China, I was given my visa in my passport from the consulate in the United States. And then when I got it, it said I can only stay 000 days, which basically in China, if you get a visa and it says 000 as your stay, that means that once you get to China, you have to change over to a residence permit. But you're not a resident of the country, but you have to get a resident permit to work there or study there, depending on your visa when you arrive. So within 30 days of arrival, I had to go to the police station, like register my address. I had to go to the immigration with my school, and my school gave them the documents to change me over to a real student visa, and I had to get a medical check. And I didn't know any of this, except for on the passport in bad English, it said, within 30 days, you must register with the police. So that's all I thought I had to do. I didn't know that I needed to change my visa. And so actually the very last day, day 30 of my visa, I did everything by the grace of God, because we went to the hospital. They said it's going to take 5 days for the results of my test for me to get my visa. And I said, I need it in 2 hours. And so we went up to the boss of the 3rd floor and we begged the guy. My friend was like, Junila, please, please, please. And they gave me the test within 30 minutes. Don't do that. Yeah, get it the day, get it before a month. A really good tip about Chinese visas is when China says your visa expires in 1 month, it's already expired in their minds. China wants to do everything 1 month ahead. And also during Chunjie, Chinese New Year, the office is closed down. So if your visa expires during New Year and you want to apply for it before or after, there might be some problems because their system might say that you're an illegal alien now. So yeah, just make sure you do everything a month before at least it expires, and you'll have no problems in China with visas.
If you want to learn more about visas in China and what you need to prepare before coming, we have put together a complete China visa guide. You can find it in the video description. What about family reunion?
Family reunion. Basically, the marriage visa. So the marriage visa is something that I think most foreigners hate because you cannot work, which is crazy. You can't work on a spousal visa. So if your wife is Chinese or your husband is Chinese and you come to China, oh, I can just get a visa from them and teach English. Nope, you can't. Basically, you can just allow your spouse to give you all the money and you just drink coffee all day. That's kind of what it is. It's unfortunate, but yeah, I think it kind of works out for maybe retired people. It's a good retirement visa for married couples,
yeah, true,
but Chinese people, I think, like most people with this visa, they're not at the age of retirement yet. So most people that get married because they want to stay in China, they get the spousal visa, and it's just a temporary visa for them to change. Because the thing about Chinese visas is if you have a tourist visa when you come to China and you want to change to a work visa, you cannot change it in China. You have to go outside of China. So usually you have to go to your home country, but you can also go to places like Hong Kong, Japan, and Korea, which are close. And you can just take a train or you can fly there. And in Hong Kong, there's a Chinese mainland visa center.
So you can change visa in Hong Kong?
You can, I did. But the appointments and everything, it's a little bit crazy and how many people do it. So I actually suggest either going back to your home country or going to like Malaysia. Because it's much faster. Yeah, because also like if you're looking up where you want to change your visa, if you live in China or if you want to come to China and you want to change your visa, look up what country is near you that doesn't have visas for China. So like Malaysia is visa free. So their visa office is empty because no one needs to go there anymore for tourism. So that's what I did when I changed my visa. I went to Malaysia and I was the second person in line.
That's genius.
And it took 15 minutes. In Hong Kong, they said it's going to take 5 days.
So next one is private visit visa. I never heard of that. So
yes.
Can you tell us about it?
Yes. So I actually got this visa before. It was actually a mistake at the visa office. At the time, they gave me 10 years, 90 days. So it was a long visa. Yeah. Also, one thing to note is if you want an S visa or you're trying to get one, you need to know somebody who has a job, who has a visa already in China that's a foreigner, not a Chinese person. So like if my sister was a student here and I wanted to visit her, instead of getting a tourist visa for 30 days, 60 days, I could get an S visa and visit her for 3 months, which is why they give this visa. Basically, it means is your family can visit you on a private matter.
K visa.
K visa.
Come on October 1st. The K visa is for the use of foreign intelligent employees is under the STEM majors, like
science, technology, engineering and math.
Yeah,
okay.
4 things. And there's this age limit. Also with Proactor AI, we look up how many days you can stay under the K visa. But still is very unclear. It's just like a new policies. What do you think about K visa?
I think I've lived in China for a long time now, since 2009, and it's been 16 years, but finally I feel like we have a visa that is going to encourage people to move here and to be professionals here. Because I think usually when people come to China, we call them like monkey jobs, where it's just like you just get a job and you're just basically used for your face or your talent and you're not really serious. But this visa seems like it's actually serious. And so it's interesting because I think it's going to bring a new type of foreigner to China, which will be interesting for the communities.
All right, last visa type is the Chinese 5-star card.
And here it is. Just kidding.
I have a few friends, you also have a few friends who got the Chinese 5-star cards.
Yeah.
They actually like content creators or like they TV presenters. So they did like big contribution to China. What do you know about Chinese 5-star card?
I know it from the marriage perspective. So people that married Chinese people, mainly foreign guys that married Chinese women. And yeah, they got the card after 5 years. And then my other friend who got it, he's a lawyer back in the USA, and he is teaching at an American university in Zhuhai. It took him 9 years. I was like, how is it? Are you excited? He goes, my wife wants to go back to America. I was like, no, that's so sad. You just got your... Yeah, he doesn't need a visa. He can stay as long as he wants, never has to leave, because it's good for 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
You don't have to renew the 5-star card.
Yeah, and every single like machine in China worked. Every other machine that you need to boop, beep, 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 we can't use it. We have to go to the person in line, and sometimes there's no person, so
it's manual.
It's more annoying.
Yeah. like when we travel, because we have a Chinese ID card, 身份证.
Yeah.
I just tap it, beep, and go. And scan face.
Yeah.
That's it. We
Yeah,
don't have
it
to
doesn't
call.
work for us. Oh,
Now
yeah.
let's take a look at the Proactor AI. So we called it for like 38 minutes, almost 40 minutes. Okay.
So AI advice means that AI added its advice to your conversation?
Yes, it's like an extension of your conversation.
Oh, this is really nice.
That's very detailed.
Super nice. Oh, I even saw the thing about the arrival card. We didn't even mention that, but it added it too, which is important. When you arrive to China, no matter what visa you're on, you have to fill out an arrival card. Because I just got back from Japan from holiday, and I came back and I saw a QR code, and it said, if you scan this code, you can fill in the arrival card on digitally. And I was like, oh, this is great. I don't have to line up anymore. I don't have to use my pen because I didn't have a pen, And I go to the thing. He goes, where's your arrival card? And I said, oh, I have a QR code. And it says in tiny English at the top, you must print this out. Oh, makes sense. So basically what you have to do is you have to scan your QR code, fill out the information, go to the printer, it prints it out yourself, and then you have to sign it. It's useless. Completely useless. Anyways, it mentioned the arrival card, which is important. We always need the arrival card for China. If you can get deported, blacklisted, banned, removal, fines. Interesting. Wow. This is a game changer.
It is. 派出所. It even talk about 派出所 in Chinese. Alright, thank you guys for watching. So that's it, everything about this Visa in China video. And thanks again to our sponsor Proactor AI. And thanks Matt.
No problem.
Very interesting, fascinating storytelling. So if you guys are interested in Proactor AI, can check out in my comments below and also the video description. And if you're interested in Matt's content, give these guys a follow button on Xiaohongshu, Instagram, and YouTube.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, alright, see you guys.
Bye.
If you are planning to move to China or just want to understand the visa process better, don't forget to check out our complete China visa guide. It is linked in the video description below.